soft reading book out and a pencil. And we are going to use Reader's Notebook, page 113. I wanted to say 114. I didn't think it was 113. So we're going to actually use pages from the story to help us answer some of the questions on page 113. Now, the idea of these 2 pages is to write a storm poem. We're not going to write a storm poem, but I do want us to come up with some facts and details about the different kinds of storms that we are learning about in this story, okay? So we're going to look at the types of storms. We're going to read the different pages that it asks us to read, and we're going to come up with some details. We're going to describe these storms in our own words. So basically, we're not going to so much write sentences as we're going to write facts about these storms. There's just going to be a few words about each kind of storm. I'll get my dry erase board ready here because we're going to write this down. Ooh, I almost knocked my eraser off. I bet you that's what happened to the other eraser that used to be there. Okay, let me get my dry erase board ready here so that I can write down my answers first. So, on page 113, the first thing we need to do is read page 271. So in your book, I want you to turn to page 271. Let me find it in my book here too. 271. There we go. That's the page with the lightning bolts going across the sky. So on page 271, we want to read it, and we're going to come up with some details about a thunderstorm. We're going to learn some facts about the thunderstorm on this page, and we're going to write a few of those facts down. So, it says, during a thunderstorm, lightning bolts can shoot between clouds and the ground. Lightning can destroy a tree or a small house. It can also start fires in forests and grasslands. Thunder is the sound lightning makes as it suddenly heats the air. You can tell how far away lightning is. Count the seconds between the flash of light and the sound of thunder. 5 seconds equal 1 mile. So now let me go back to my Reader's Notebook page here. And let's come up with some words that describe a thunderstorm from what we just read in our story. What can we say about a thunderstorm from what we just read in our story? Angelina, what's one thing we could say?
It can make fires.
Which part can make fires?
The thunder?
No, the thunder is the sound that it comes after the thing that can make the fire. So what's the other thing that is part of a thunderstorm? It's that bright flash of light that goes across the sky. What do we call it?
Lightning?
Lightning, yes. So we can write down on that page, there's 2 lines, so make sure you leave enough space because we're going to write more than one thing. We're going to write down lightning, and I'll turn this around in just a second, can start fires. Okay? Lightning can start fires. That's one detail that we learned in that page. Lightning can start fires. Especially in places where it's really, really dry, because lightning is just like, kind of like it's like electricity coming out of the sky, but it can cause a fire because it's hot like a fire, so it causes like a spark, which then will ignite something dry like grass or trees that haven't had very much rain. Okay. Great, Kinsley, thank you. You don't have to, Angelina. The friends at home, it's easier for me to see that they've done it because the way their iPads have to sit, I don't always necessarily see that they're writing. You're going to want to leave that open though because we have more to write. Okay. Lightning can start fires. All right, what else do we know about a thunderstorm? We can have lightning that can start a fire. Gwen, what's something else we just learned about that?
5 seconds is 1 mile away from a thunderstorm.
Okay, thanks, Janessa. So we can listen to how far away a thunderstorm is by listening for the seconds, right? So thanks, Jake. So let me see. How can I put that in my own words so that I don't have a ton of stuff to write? Let's put it this way. Every 5 seconds
Is 1 mile.
equals 1 mile. Yeah, I'll write that down. Okay. So one more thing we can add there is every 5 seconds, and that way I can use the word equals, which is one of my vocabulary words. Every 5 seconds equals 1 mile. Every 5 seconds equals 1 mile. So you have that flash of light for the lightning, and then you start counting the number of seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you hear the thunder by then, it means it's a mile away. If you don't hear the thunder by then, it means the storm is more than a mile away. For every 5 seconds, you can keep counting 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It would be 2 miles away. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, be 3 miles away. Depends on how many seconds you get to count in between. Okay? So every 5 seconds equals 1 mile. And we'll come up with one more fact that we learned about thunderstorms. Lightning can start fires. Every 5 seconds equals 1 mile. Hayden, are you getting all this written down? Okay. I will have to erase my board though because I'll need more space on my board. So once we get this written down, then I will erase my board. I should try, now that we got the pen working, I should see if I can get the pen to work on the board. I'll try that later. I'm not going to try it right now. Thanks, Jake. Thanks, Kinsley. All right. One more fact that we learned about thunderstorms on that page. 1 mile. What's one more fact that we learned about on that page? Let me grab my eraser here. Zeta, what's another fact that we learned about? Thank you, Sunessa.
They start fires and burn down.
Well, yeah, we already talked about how lightning can start fires. So if it's going to start fires, it could burn something, obviously. What else did we learn? Where does the lightning come from?
The clouds.
Yeah, it comes out of the clouds, usually. Now, lightning can actually come out of the ground, too. But most of the time, the lightning goes from the clouds to the ground, okay? There is such a thing called ground lightning, though, where lightning does come up from the ground, okay? But lightning can go in between, from the clouds to the ground. So let me erase this real quick. Oh, I should have just left the word lightning there because we need that there anyways, but let me erase this real quick. Logan, do you have a question about what we're writing down?
I have a question. How I think the lightning goes comes out of the ground and it goes it sucks one side of the earth and it goes through and it hits the other side.
One side of the earth and hits the other side?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't actually go through the earth. And I can tell you why it doesn't in just a second.
Oh, yeah.
So lightning goes from the clouds
Why am I down in space?
to the ground. Okay, that's another fact. Lightning goes from the clouds to the ground. You already have the word lightning on your page, so you can just use your page to look at that if you need to. Lightning goes from the clouds to the ground. Now, the reason why it doesn't go all the way through, Logan, is because...
Oh, yeah, there's lava under us.
Sort of. Like, it's melted rock. But one of the things that it does is there's a lot of rock in the earth, in the middle of the earth. And so lightning cannot travel through all of that rock. At some point, the rock will actually stop the lightning because it just can't go through it. Okay? So that's one of the things that stops it from going all the way through to the other side.
can enough lightning break a rock?
You could have lightning break a smaller type of rock, or like a boulder type rock. A boulder is like a big rock that you or I could not move ourselves. But lightning's not going to break the earth, which is a gigantic rock.
And it can definitely break the rock
Thanks,
Tiger's eye.
Right, exactly. Okay. Lightning goes between the ground or the sky, the clouds. Lightning goes between the clouds and the ground. Okay. Gwen.
I didn't have enough room on my line, so I just wrote down here in this.
And that little bit of space up between before the next question. That's fine. When you're done writing this one down, you're going to want to turn to page 273 in your hard book because that's going to be the page we look at next. We're going to look at a tornado. We're going to read about a tornado and use our own words to describe the tornado. So 273, I'm going to try to switch to it in my book here. 273, I should be able to go boop, and it should be on the next page. Yep, there we go. No, that wasn't it. It's like, can you pick your hand up for just a second so I can see what page? Yeah, 273. Describe a tornado. Oh, it is on page 273. I was looking at the hailstones on page 272. My bad. Okay. Thanks, Unessa. Yep. Okay. All right, so on page 273, let's read about the thunderstorm which causes a tornado. You have to have a thunderstorm to be able to have a tornado. The two things go together. Thunderstorms sometimes give birth to tornadoes. Inside a storm, a funnel-shaped cloud reaches downward. Winds inside a tornado can spin faster than 300 miles per hour. These winds can lift cars off the ground and rip houses apart. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so let's come up with some facts now that we can say about the tornado. So, next question down. Let's describe the tornado. Kaden, tell me one thing that I can say about a tornado from that page.
Sometimes it gives birth to tornadoes.
What gives birth to tornadoes? What creates the tornado?
Thunderstorms.
Yeah, so thunderstorms make tornadoes. We can start by saying that. The word thunderstorms is the very first word on that page. So you can start writing it down by looking at that very first word on that page. Thunderstorms make tornadoes is what I'm going to say. Thunderstorms make tornadoes. This is the word thunderstorms. You can start writing that down right there on your paper. Thunderstorms make tornadoes. You have to have a thunderstorm. I want you to look on your page right here and write it down. Okay? You have to have a thunderstorm before you can have a tornado. You cannot have a tornado without the thunderstorm. Are you getting this written down, Lonnie? You should be writing this down with us. Thunderstorms make tornadoes. Yep, thunderstorms make tornadoes. All right, what else can we say about tornadoes that we learned about on this page? Levi, what's another fact that we learned on that page?
I was just stretching.
Okay, but I'm still going to call on you. Levi, what's another fact that we learned about on that page? Thanks, Kinsley.
It can lift houses apart.
Yeah, tornadoes can rip apart houses. That's pretty bad. Okay? So let me write that down next. I'll put a little comma after what I wrote here. Tornadoes can rip,
I didn't get to finish. I only got to write.
but all the words that you need are in your book. So you can look for those words, and I'll turn the board back around in just a second. Tornadoes can rip apart. Jamie, you could be looking for the words too. Houses. Tornadoes can rip apart houses. They're pretty strong. And I'm wondering if somebody, for our last detail, will be able to tell me why a tornado can rip apart a house. Because that information, Lonnie, I'll call on you in just a second, okay? You keep writing and I'll call on you. I bet you can tell me why that tornado can rip apart the house. There's a reason why a tornado can rip apart a house. Okay? Tornadoes can rip apart houses.
Would that say thunder tornadoes?
I don't know what you have written down. I think you're supposed to have thunderstorms written down. Looks like the word thunderstorm. Let's go, Logan. Up and down. Get moving. When you're done writing, Lonnie, why don't you go ahead and tell me why do you think a tornado can rip apart a house?
Okay.
What exactly? What part of that tornado can do all that ripping apart? Do you know? Right, because it's spinning so fast. The winds are so strong, 300 miles per hour.
And when it spins more miles per hour, like 1,000 miles per hour, it can lift the whole ground off the ground like it's gigantic.
I imagine if it could go 1,000 miles per hour, it could lift the ground up, but I don't think a thunderstorm would ever go quite that fast.
It can go that fast because
I don't think it could. I think that would be impossible.
but it can kill the car's engines and
Well, it can do that with 300 miles per hour too, but yes.
and when it ends, it can just break the cars or something.
It can.
The tornadoes have the cars inside.
Great, Janessa, thanks.
More.
Right, okay. So tornado winds can go up to 300 miles per hour. That's pretty fast. That's faster than any other storm. I'm going to write that down in just a second. Great, Jake. Thank you. I'm going to put that up at the very top of my page. Up on the top of my board. I'm going to say the winds can go, or can, yeah,
I didn't finish. Oh.
up to, oops, let me write the word up again.
I didn't finish.
I understand you didn't finish, but Logan, we can't sit and wait for you to get caught up, so I will turn this back around in just a second. You need to start paying attention and writing a little bit faster. 300, and I'm going to put MPH. MPH is an abbreviation for miles per hour, so that I don't have to write all those words, 3 words. Okay? The winds can go up to 300 miles per hour, MPH. That's pretty fast.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give you an idea of how fast it is. Let me think.
Right.
Let me think of how fast. I mean, cars can't even go 300 miles per hour.
What?
They can't go that fast.
What about peanuts?
Nope. I don't think of any animal that can go 300 miles per hour. Maybe one of those like light rail trains. They probably go very close to 300 miles per hour or something like that. I should look that up. I should look up what other things can go up to 300 miles per hour.
Finally done.
They can go up to 300 miles per hour. That's pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
Houses. Write the word houses. Right here. Houses apart. Write those 2 words and then we're going to move on. Right here. Houses apart. Write them from your book because we're going to move on. Okay. Now we're going to look at pages 276, 277, and 278. So go ahead and flip to those in your book. 276, 277, and 278. We'll start with 276 and 277 first. We're going to talk about hurricanes. Another kind of deadly storm. Dun dun dun. All right. Hurricanes are the deadliest storms in the world. They kill more people than all other storms combined. Hurricanes stretch for hundreds of miles. They have winds of between 74 and 200 miles per hour. The eye of a hurricane, that's that little part in the middle, is the quiet center of the storm. Inside the eye, the wind stops blowing, the sun shines, and the sky is blue. But beware, the storm is not over yet. Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to turn the page because there's a little bit more about a hurricane on the next page, 278. Hurricanes are born over warm ocean waters from early summer to mid-fall. When they finally reach land, their pounding waves wash away beaches, boats, and houses. Their howling winds bend and uproot trees and telephone poles. Their heavy rains cause floods. All right, let's come up with a couple of things that we learned about hurricanes now. Thank you, Yanessa. Some things we learned about hurricanes that we can put on our reader's notebook page. What's one thing that we just learned about hurricanes? Derek, what's something we learned about hurricanes on that page? What kind of storm are they? They are the most what kind of storm? Yeah, the most dangerous storm, okay? So they are the most dangerous storms. I'm going to write the most dangerous. Erase my word most. You can start writing the word the there, Kaden. The most dangerous storm or as they described it in the book, it's the deadliest storm. Okay? Levi, you had your hand raised. Did you have a question?
No.
Okay. You have a fact to tell me in a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, then hold on to your fact.
When you see next person's turn to say it.
Okay, well, I'm going to let you tell me your fact in just a second. Yes, Kinsley, what's your question, hon? Well, we're writing it on right here, the third one down, where it says describe a hurricane in your own words. Okay? The most dangerous storm. So that means hurricanes are worse than tornadoes, hurricanes are worse than blizzards, hurricanes are worse than thunderstorms, hurricanes are worse than rainstorms, hail, all of that stuff. Okay? All right, what can you tell me?
That they are dangerous, but they are the deadly storms in the world.
Right, they are the deadliest storms in the world. That means that they kill the most people. Hurricanes kill the most people as all storms combined.
They can kill a lot of people, more than 100 or 1,000.
Possibly. I don't even know what the number would be. Great, Kinsley. Thanks, hon. All right, Levi, what were you going to tell me about hurricanes?
They can reach land and they can pound.
Right. They have pounding
They-
waves, right? Yeah.
Waves.
So the winds make the waves pound. Thanks, Jake. Great job. Thanks, Janessa. Okay. So can I say the winds are very strong?
Yeah.
Okay. So another fact about hurricanes are the winds are very strong. So like Levi was saying, they can make the waves pound. And we know that one of our vocabulary words, pound, means what, Levi?
Pound means they can get multiple times.
Right, hitting it again and again and again. So if you've ever been to the beach or a body of water where waves come up on the shore, and usually they come nice and gently, and it's such a soothing sound. It's like splash, splash, splash. This would not be a splash, splash. This would be a boom as the waves hit and all the water splashes up and it gets all over everything, okay? Because they're pounding. hitting again and again and again on the beach.
S-V-E-R.
Very strong wind. Gwen, did you have another fact that you want to share about hurricanes?
Yeah. Hurricanes, they sometimes they only are in water, and sometimes hurricanes are in water, but most of the time hurricanes can reach land too.
But where do hurricanes have to start?
They have to start in the water.
Yes, they have to start in the water. That's a very good fact to remember. Hurricanes have to start in what kind of water too? What temperature?
At least 75.
Well, not is it going to be hot water, cold water, warm water, cool water?
Warm water.
Yes, it has to start in warm water. So I don't know exactly what the temperature is, like 75 degrees Fahrenheit or something. But it has to be warm water, warm ocean water for it to start a hurricane. So think about that too. If you have a swimming pool in your backyard, or you go to a swimming pool over the summer, hopefully the water is a little warm. Not like super hot warm, but hopefully it's warm, right? That's warm water, but you don't ever have to worry about a hurricane starting in your swimming pool. It's never going to start in your swimming pool. Has to be over the warm ocean water. Remember we talked about that yesterday, how the winds are coming from a bunch of different directions. You're not going to have a bunch of winds over top of your swimming pool or a lake, like Lake Marburg or whatever that's near my house. I don't ever have to worry about a hurricane forming over Lake Marburg because there's not that much wind action going on. Plus, there's other things blocking that wind: trees, mountains, hills, building, houses, all those kinds of things. But the ocean, remember, is this big, wide, open body of water. There's really nothing stopping winds. So the winds come up from one direction, they come down from another direction, they come sideways from another direction. Remember how I talked about the winds don't really get along at all? They kind of bang up on each other and they start swirling around and like cats fighting. And that's what happens, and that's what causes the hurricane, okay? They start swirling, 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 and then that causes the storm. Great, Kinsley, great, Inessa, thank you. Yes, Gwen?
But if you live in a place like Pennsylvania where there's a lot of mountains, a mountain will stop them and they'll bounce back where they're supposed to be.
Right. Now, every once in a while, it can be a strong enough storm because remember, hurricanes are really huge. They can cover hundreds of miles. So every once in a while, even though the hurricane might still be in the water or over the water, it's so big and so wide that part of it can come into Pennsylvania. And we get usually a lot of rain. Sometimes we get some pretty strong winds. But I don't think we will ever experience a really big, full hurricane like you see in that picture with the eye of the storm. I don't think where we live we're ever going to see that. All right. Thanks, Jake. So one more fact I want to say about hurricanes is they start in warm water, okay? So let's get that fact down. They start in warm, I'm going to put ocean water. Ocean water. Okay? That's another very important fact to remember about the hurricanes. Lonnie, make sure you're getting this down in your book. They start in warm ocean water. Put this back. They start in warm ocean water, which is kind of good. Also, too, that's one of the reasons why we don't get a lot of hurricanes that start in the oceans near us. Now, we will get hurricanes that come to the oceans near us, like Ocean City or Myrtle Beach, or I'm trying to think where else, the Outer Banks, those kinds of places. But, great, Kinsley, thanks, hon. But they don't actually start there because that ocean water is a bit colder. Okay, the oceans that we usually swim in, where we go most of the time in our part of the United States, the water is a lot colder than if you were to go to the other side of the ocean, or other side of the United States, or down south where the water is a bit warmer. Yes, Alina?
Over the summer, I went to Ocean City and the water was warm there.
Yeah, yep. And it's warm, but it's not as warm as what it would be if you were swimming like in the Gulf, which is that part, that curvy part at the bottom of the United States where Florida hangs down and Texas hangs down a little bit. That water gets really, really super warm,
Yeah.
like bath water warm. It's like getting into a bathtub. So, okay. All right, one more thing. Go to page 279. We're going to read about a blizzard.
Yeah, I already there.
Fantastic.
Already? Yeah. It's
Fantastic.
on the same page.
It is. It's the next page.
I've been there.
We're going to read about the blizzard, and we're going to come up with, let's see, 3 things that we can say about the blizzard once we're done. Great, Yanessa. Thanks, hon. Jake, are you good, or are you still writing? You okay? Okay. All right, I'm going to turn to page 279. Yes, Gwen.
There's something about the blizzard.
All right, well, let me read about blizzards first, and then you can tell me. Blizzards are huge snowstorms. They have winds of at least 35 miles per hour. Usually, at least 2 inches of snow falls per hour. Temperatures are at 20 degrees or lower. Falling and blowing snow make it hard to see in a blizzard. So, tell me, what do we know now about a blizzard? What is a blizzard? Logan, give me a fact. I don't think I asked you yet for a fact.
A snowstorm.
Yeah, blizzards are huge snowstorms. So, I'm going to say a huge snowstorm.
What is AU? Right?
Like the word a. A huge snowstorm. Jamie, focus, 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 buddy. We're writing things down now. For the blizzard, for the last one. Blizzards are huge snowstorms. Not just like little bitty bitty flakes of snow coming out of the sky either, friends. Huge snowstorms. When?
Snowstorms are from they get have a lot of inches of snow.
Right. Blizzards will produce a lot of snow, not just a little bit of snow. So like the snowstorm we had, when was that? Right after Thanksgiving?
You know, like the day that we're gonna.
And we were supposed to come back and we couldn't because it snowed. Thanks, Kinsley Greyhound. That was not a blizzard. There was a lot of snow. That was not a blizzard. Okay? That was about 8 inches or so. That was a nice snowstorm, though. We're talking about lots and lots and lots of snow. Like, remember how we talked about 3 feet of snow? Or how my friends at home, when we got 8 inches of snow, where I grew up, they got 4 feet of snow. Where you opened up the door and the snow was to here.
What?
That's a lot of snow. So blizzards make a lot of snow. Make a lot of snow. That's another fact that we can write about blizzards. Oops, Logan, can you grab my marker top? It just fell onto your desk. Make a lot of snow. Great, Yanessa. Thanks, hon. Make a lot of snow. And that's because it's so cold. There's a lot of water coming out of the clouds, and the air is so cold that a lot of snow comes out, all at the same time. 2 inches of snow per hour. That's a lot of snow at one time. Are you getting this down, Lonnie? Are you making sure you're writing this in your book? Okay, fantastic, buddy. Great job. Great, Jake. Thank you, hon. It makes a lot of snow.
I'm done.
Let's think if we can think of one more thing that we can learn about a blizzard. Zayden, what can you share with me about a blizzard? Great, Kinsley. Thanks, hon.
The temperature can be 20 degrees or lower.
Right. That's a great fact to remember. Now, when we have a snowstorm, remember we've been talking about how if it snows, it has to be at least 32 degrees outside for it to be snow and not rain. The air temperature has to be colder. But this is a really, really, really cold snowstorm. So it needs to be at least 20 degrees or lower. That's super cold. That's like indoor recess cold.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm going to write temperature has to be 20 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm going to use my little degrees Fahrenheit sign like we do with our temperature. Okay, so for a blizzard, it has to be at least 20 degrees Fahrenheit, okay? Or it can be colder. It could be 19 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Fahrenheit. It has to be at least 20 degrees Fahrenheit. When you get this written down, then friends, here in the classroom, you can put your regular book away, but leave your reader's notebook out. Just put your pencil in it and close it because we will be using it again in a second. But we're going to talk about verbs a little bit first, and we're going to do a verb song first. It'll give us a chance to get up and move.
Yes.
So once you get it written down, just put your pencil inside your reader's notebook, close your reader's notebook, and your hard reading book can go away. Okay? And once I see that all the hard reading books are away, then I'll know that we're ready to move on to verbs, our action words.